be back and after that month-long hiatus, how's it feel to be back?
Feels really good. I was definitely missing competing and just being around the team. Definitely wasn't easy being off for a little bit, but I'm glad to be back.
Not that you need something to drive you, but does that kind of help being away from things for a little bit? Does that kind of help you roll back into things?
Yeah. Whenever you start to kind of be away and you don't have, you're not competing, you definitely start to miss it, and it's helped me, get motivated to, get my weight where it needs to be, and just so I can, compete at my best.
When John talked about it, he kind of spoke a little bit about just how frustrating a time it probably was for you. What was it like, and is that kind of one of the more challenging periods of time you've been through in your time?
Yeah, because I've never really, knock on wood, I haven't had really very many injuries in my career. So it was just kind of injury after injury. I was just dealing with a couple different things and a little bit of illness, and it felt like one thing after another was hitting me, and just a lot of unfortunate events that were happening back to back to back. And luckily I got through those, and I'm just happy to be back and be with my team.
One thing I noticed and I asked Coach about as well was after you cooled down from your match in Raleigh, you took a seat next to him. You looked pretty active. The TV shots we saw, you were pretty active with, I don't know if you were coaching, cheerleading, or a combination thereof. And he talked about how he was glad to see that.
Yeah, I want to see all my teammates do good. We've got a really good young team, and if I can, if there's anything that I can say, or if I see something, then I'm obviously going to try to help out on the bench. I think that we have a good team, and every little bit of advice can help.
You talked about your weight a little bit. Did you go up like when you were hurt and couldn't practice and stuff? Or?
Yeah, it's whenever you're not making weight, it's kind of hard to keep your weight down. You can try to keep it down as much as you can, but whenever you can't actually work out and do things, it's hard to keep it down. And just having a couple weigh-ins the last couple weeks, it's definitely helped me. Whenever you start to make weight every week, it gets a lot easier. And I missed out on 3, 4, 5 weigh-ins, which just kind of set me back a little bit, but it's been good the last couple weeks. So
50, are you 57 for the Olympic trials?
Yeah, 57 for the Olympic trials.
Was that a pretty big cut then, I guess?
Yeah. I mean, it's not an easy cut, but it's I really don't have a choice. I could go up to 43, but I'd be I would be undersized, and I think that at 57 kilos, I can beat anybody in the world, and that's been my goal since I was first started wrestling, is to be an Olympic gold medalist. So I think that being at 57 kilos, that gives me the best chance to accomplish my goals.
So last time you took an Olympic vesture, right? So this year, what's it kind of different if you're competing full-on folk styles and then kind of making that transition, I guess, after the season? Like, how do you approach that again?
Yeah, I mean, there's actually not going to be that big of a difference because I took the Olympic red shirt, but the trials got canceled that year because of COVID. So actually, the year I went to the trials, I still wrestled in that season. It was just like a shortened season, and so I wrestled in the NCAA's tournament, and then had to make weight like 2 weeks later, or a week later, for the trials. So that was actually less time than I'll have for this trials. I think I have like 3 weeks this time, so I'll have a little bit more time to get my weight down. So,
What have you thought of a guy like Isaac's immediate impact on the ring?
Isaac's been awesome. I wish that he could have been a part of our team for a couple more years than just this one. But having him around and just being around someone that's as good as he is and as good of a person as he is, it's been awesome to see. And he's another one of those guys that he was just like me. He got done with his match and he was cheering as hard as anybody on the bench, and you just love to see that. You love to see a team that wants to see each other do good, and we're we're gonna cheer each other on, and you know we want to win big dual meets, and that's what we plan on doing.
When you think of Isaac, what sticks out about him as a wrestler?
You know, he's really obviously he's really good on his feet. He's really slick. He can score in a number of ways on his feet. He's good on top. He's got stingy defense. It looks like to me that he'd be pretty tough to wrestle just because he's so long. You know, and I think that he's obviously one of the best guys at the weight. You know, he's got some good guys that he's going to go against, but I think that being here at Oklahoma State for him, I think it's kind of helped him raise his level than in the past, and I think he's right there with anybody.
You got a lot of young guys on this team, like you said, and how much can you help those guys with this weekend? Because instead of just one big match and then come on home, this one's a double dip, and they're always a little more stressful, aren't they?
Yeah. You just got to be smart about your weight after that first weigh-in. You don't want to blow up too big because obviously you have to make weight again on Sunday. So it's they'll be smart about their weight. They're a young group, but they're pretty mature for how young they are. I think that's obviously plays a factor into why we've been wrestling pretty good the last couple weeks, and I think that we're just going to continue to grow, and I definitely don't think we've seen our best wrestling. I think that we have a lot to improve on, and the sky's the limit for us.
Dayton, 2 months into the season, and it's one thing to ask you now, and after the first duel, how have you felt the pace of matches and duels change with the 3-point takedown?
I think that I really don't think it's changed that much. I think that you see higher scores. I think that you can. The biggest difference is you can get bonus points easier. For me, I got three takedowns in my match against NC State and got a major. When in the past, I would have had to get some back points or some more takedowns to get that major. But the other side of the coin, everybody talks about the offensive side, but the other side of the coin is, no lead is safe with the 3-point takedowns. I was up, what was the score? I was up by like 4 points or 5 points. If I give up a takedown and I push for that major, there's a minute left, I need a takedown to get the major. If he would have got a takedown, it would have been a 1-point match. So he lets me up, and now we're takedown away from taking the lead. So it's I was close enough to get the major. I got the major, but he was definitely still in the match. He gets a takedown and he's right back in it. So it's I think it's good for the sport. It definitely promotes people trying to score points, and you can get points, you can get taken down, and you can still come back. So I think that overall it's very good for the sport.
Coach talked about Teague Travis and the work ethic he's shown in the room even before he started wrestling in the lineup this year. What stands out to you about the way he works in the room?
He's tough. He's a hard worker. He was someone that I went with a lot last year. I was with him just about every day. He was making 41, and that was a pretty big cut for him. But he was someone that that I worked out with just about every day, and he was someone that was really good for me. And he's just a tough competitor. He's not going to get tired in matches. He's going to fight you. He's going to do whatever he can to score points. And I think that when you have someone like that and you have to go up against someone like that, it's always going to be hard. He's always going to be in the match, and I think he feels really good at 157. I think that it just helps that he's going to be able to use his gas tank and be able to really wrestle really hard those full 7 minutes, and he definitely utilizes those 7 minutes.